Hi, I'm Chuck, and we are at the JetBrains booth. And today, I'm very lucky to have Seth, who is a security expert at the PSF, and he is keeping us Python users safe. And today we're going to talk to him. And for people who don't know what you actually do for the PSF or Python, maybe you can explain, like, what do you do and how do you keep us safe?
Yeah, so hey everyone, I'm Seth Larson. I'm the Security Developer Resident at the Python Software Foundation. And so that includes everything security for the Python ecosystem. So that's the Python language, the Python package index, and the entire long tail of Python projects and packages. Anything that people build with Python, I am thinking about all of you. And so I do that through a lot of different things. Things like creating tools related to security. I work on the Python security response team where we handle issues for Python and then publish advisories. We manage the CVE program for the Python Software Foundation. We also publish lots of different security standards. So the most recent one is the Python security response team governance document, and then also defining how to do software bill of materials for Python packages. Those are the two most recent ones. I also a pretty prolific writer in the Python security space, so publishing to the Python Software Foundation blog, and also my own blog about security work that other people are doing or that I'm doing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I actually have read your blog post about the trusted publisher.
Okay.
Do you know that in our survey, actually we have a question asking about that, and only 20% of the Python developer know about the trusted publisher. And 37% of them, never heard about it. Only 20% of them use it. So, do you think the Python developers need to be more aware of security?
I mean, I'm never going to say to not be aware of security. You should definitely be aware of security. The way I think about security is you don't have to know every aspect of security to apply it effectively, right? So there are experts in so many different domains. So like if you're writing scientific code, if you're writing code about the web, if you're writing code about any other of these topics, Python covers so many topics. I think the important part is knowing about security for the topic that you are applying or what you're working on currently. So if you're publishing a package to the Python package index, you should probably know about trusted publishers, know that that's an option, right? But if you're not doing that, like you don't have to publish a package to Python package index. Maybe you don't need to know about trusted publishers, but you should probably know about the security of whatever domain that you're actually working in. That's my recommendation to people.
Yeah, do you think PSF actually have plans to promote security, especially to Python users?
Yeah, definitely. So we are going to be working on awareness of security, especially in those like targeted domains. So making sure that wherever there's like a guide about how to do something, making sure that that guide is really useful, has all the security that you need to know, how to deploy Python securely, what the threat model of Python is so that you know how to use it securely, trying to work on like secure defaults so that people don't even need to necessarily be security experts to be able to benefit from all the security work that we're doing. That's kind of like where we're trying to focus things.
Yeah, cool. You know what? Now, actually, a lot of people are using UV as the tool to manage the dependencies. And people talk about all these like tools that is built by Rust, like Ruff and TY, and a lot of them PyPI. So, do you think because the tool are built of Rust and that actually have a help in security in the Python community?
Yeah. So Rust has this really tight association with memory safety, right? When people think about Rust, they think immediately about security. And so that's true, right? As a systems programming language, it is more secure. It has a different paradigm, right? It can solve a lot of memory issues. But in those terms, specifically for tools, I think that a lot of times Rust is chosen for performance reasons, right? So things like startup time, things like being able to process data really quickly, those are usually the reasons why people would pick it for like a tool. Rust is a great thing. I really do love Rust. I'm happy that Python and Rust are so close to each other and all the work like PyO3 and all of that. So I'm really looking forward to an even tighter association between Python and Rust.
Actually, talking about PyO3, we have quite a lot of people, they actually build binary modules. And I know like if you write Rust, you use PyO3 to build a binary module. Is it like a good thing that like maybe more and more people, they may switch from using C++ to use Rust to build the binary modules?
Yes. So in those terms, definitely the security aspects are really, really important, because a lot of times with libraries, you're processing untrusted code. This is where Rust, compared to like something like C or C++, really, really shines. Because if you're doing direct memory management, it is really, really difficult to get it perfectly right, versus when you're writing with Rust, it handles all of these issues for you, and so you don't have to think about that. You can focus more time and energy on securing the actual logic of the code, as opposed to things like memory management or making sure your buffers are correct, or all of that. So like, highly recommend Rust, especially for processing untrusted data.
Yeah, I think, when talking about that kind of work, I think it's quite difficult and not a lot of people get it right?
Yeah.
I know like recently there's a lot of like concern about supply chain issues. We see a lot of like exploitation going on. So from our survey, actually, it says that a lot of people are using the PyPI published GitHub action to in their pipeline to publish their library. Is it a good practice? If not, like, is there anything that we can do to improve that, the CI pipeline?
Yeah. It is definitely a good practice. Please, if you're using GitHub Actions, I hope that you know about the publish action, because it's a really good one. Combining that with trusted publishers, like you mentioned earlier, that will make it so that there's no credentials in your workflow, and so you don't have to worry about those getting exfiltrated, or if you're working with them locally as a developer, you don't have to worry about supply chains attacks from that angle. Another additional consideration you should add if you're using GitHub Actions or any sort of workflows is looking at Zizmore. Zizmore is an amazing tool, especially if you're using GitHub Actions. You run the tool, it can automatically fix a whole bunch of things, just lock down your entire workflow. Please treat those issues that it finds very, very, treat them hastily, because there are definitely attackers looking to exploit workflows, especially right now, and publish malware to existing Python packages. So security is really important for workflows. Yeah. Please get it right. We want you to get it right. We don't want this to happen to you. So please take a look at your workflows.
Yeah, exactly. So last, any pieces of advice that we haven't touched on yet for the Python developers who may want to improve their security in their work?
Yeah, so my biggest suggestion for improving security is to try to hook into that community of people that are publishing all this stuff about security. So really great places to start are like the Python Software Foundation blog or the PyPI blog. So every time that there's like a new security feature or a new security campaign, or we're working on something related to security, we're publishing to those blogs. And so if there's a new security feature in PyPI, you can immediately know about that feature and adopt it from the blog, right? We publish a whole bunch of pieces about that. So get hooked in with the security community with Python and start learning. We promise it's fun.
Yeah, that's so cool. And thank you so much for giving us so many insight and advice. And I think people really benefit from it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.